It began with a stench. In 2011, in the quiet city of Nizhny Novgorod, Russia, the police were investigating a wave of grave desecrations. The initial reports were strange: unearthed graves, missing bodies, vandalized headstones. But no one was prepared for what they would discover inside a cramped, decaying apartment belonging to Anatoly Moskvin. He wasn't a criminal in the traditional sense. In fact, many considered him a genius, a historian, a linguist who could speak 13 languages, a scholar who had spent decades studying ancient cultures, burial rituals, and forgotten cemeteries across Russia. To those around him, he was eccentric but harmless, just a man obsessed with history and the dead. But behind closed doors, he was constructing something unimaginable. Inside his apartment, investigators found 29 life-sized dolls. At first glance, they appeared to be elaborately crafted figures, handmade toys with glassy eyes, curly wigs, ribbons, and bright dresses. Some even wore makeup. They were propped up on shelves, lying in beds, seated at his dining table. But then the smell. The dolls were not dolls. They were corpses, mummified remains of young girls aged between 3 and 12, carefully dug up from their graves by Anatoly himself. He preserved them using a crude method of drying, stuffing their hollowed bodies with rags, dressing them in children's clothes. He painted their faces, sometimes placing masks over their decaying features to make them seem more alive. He gave them names, spoke to them daily, celebrated their birthdays, left them gifts, watched cartoons beside them. He referred to them as his daughters, sometimes his friends, other times his creations. When questioned, Anatoly calmly explained, "I felt sorry for them. They were alone. I brought them home so they wouldn't be forgotten." But this wasn't about compassion. It was obsession. A delusion so deep that even now, he does not understand the horror of what he did. Anatoly had spent years planning his ritual. He had mapped cemeteries. He slept on graves, believing the spirits would speak to him in dreams. He kept extensive diaries detailing the lives of the girls, where they were buried, what they had loved in life, what they feared. In one entry, he described waiting for hours by a grave in the cold rain, whispering lullabies to the soil. He believed, truly believed, that he was saving them. He spoke of ancient folklore, of the idea that spirits of children could be preserved, even resurrected, if given enough care, love, and ritual. He saw himself not as a monster, but a guardian. Inside his home, each girl had a designated space. Some had small rooms decorated with toys, others had beds, books, and photo albums he made himself. He even created voices for them, recording messages and playing them through voice boxes embedded in their chests. Some of the corpses had been with him for nearly a decade. The parents of the missing children were shattered. For years, they had mourned. Now, they learned their daughters had been stolen, dressed, talked to, and lived with by a man who thought he was their savior. When police raided his apartment, they were horrified. Hardened detectives described the scene as something out of a nightmare. The room filled with decomposing bodies that pretended to be toys. Media across the world erupted. Who was this man? Why was he free for so long? How did no one suspect? Psychiatrists declared Anatoly schizophrenic. He was ruled unfit for trial. Instead of prison, he was sent to a psychiatric hospital, where he remains to this day. He shows no remorse. He believes he should be released. He still wants to continue his research. He once said, "They were my girls. They needed me." But the world sees something else, a disturbed man, obsessed with death, who desecrated innocence in the name of love. And the scariest part? He's not alone. In the dark corners of the world, how many others like Anatoly wait? How many graves have already been opened? How many monsters dress like scholars and speak like geniuses, yet live with the dead? If you want more stories like this one, don't forget to comment below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who thinks they've seen it all. Because sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones that speak softly, read books, and live next door. If this story chilled you to the bone, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of Moskvin and what justice really means in a case like this. Thumbs up, don't forget to like the video. Bell, subscribe for more chilling real-life horror stories. Loudspeaker and share this with someone who thinks they've seen it all. Because some nightmares aren't fiction. They're real. And they live next door.